As we're drawn to the end of the summer, I thought it would be quite a good time to kind of reflect on 2026 and how this year has shaped me as a person, how it's changed my mentality, and how I'm going to use the lessons that I've been taught this year moving forward into 2027 and beyond. Probably going to be a bit of a long form, more raw video, if you can call it that. I've got no intentions of like chopping and editing. I might put a little backing track on or whatever, but we'll see. This has probably been one of the most difficult yet most evolutionary, I would say, years of my life. Started off the year in a mountain of debt. We'll start financially. I'm still in quite a bit of debt, but it's all kind of consolidated, so that's no longer uh, demon, so to speak, coming from various different angles. I've got that well under control, so that's one little anxiety driving thing out of my mind. I started the year in a very different personal circumstance than I find myself in currently. I'm not in the frame of mind to be talking about that publicly just yet, not just out of respect for the other people involved in that. Those who know, like close friends and family know what I'm on about, and I've got too much respect for the other people involved to outright discuss any of that. That's something personal to me and the others involved, so we'll just say that my circumstances changed and move forward. That was around February time, and it's only been the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks that I've kind of pulled myself around mentally and realised what I had, what I currently have, how I've navigated it and got here, how I can navigate going forward. Um, but I spent a large chunk from the back end of February up until about 6 weeks ago, um, enforcing the bad habits that I used to have. I was eating not necessarily as bad as I used to, but like not tracking, just not really caring what I put in, justifying it with high activity, and then complaining that I couldn't drop any weight. I was drinking heavily, which is never good. Those who know me know that 1 or 2 pints turns into 10 or 11, turns into I've ruined Easter again. And I just didn't feel like my life had any kind of guidance. I was either at work or at the gym, kind of going through the motions, or sitting in the house festering, going out on walks and kind of dissociating a little bit with music or podcasts or whatever. Confiding in a few friends, and like, don't get us wrong, I have improved in that sense. Like, I do reach out a lot more. I think going to therapy in April/May. Shout out to Be Brave Counselling in Sunderland, based out of Betsy Jenny Cafe on North Bridge Street. Highly recommend those guys if you are struggling and feel like you can't talk to people who you actually know. It's absolutely brilliant, and it taught me a lot of coping mechanisms. It taught us a lot about myself, and why I am the way I am and how I can navigate that going forward. But anyway, I kind of meandered through most of this year, especially leading into the summer, pretending that I was a bit more okay than I actually was. As I say, I was confiding in close friends, speaking a lot more to like my dad, my stepdad, my mum, and like, again, people close to us hell of a lot more than I have down the years. But ultimately, I think I was still suffering internally, coping a lot better than I normally would have. However, still not really processing things quite as healthily as I should have done. And then towards the middle of this summer, a lot of things were hitting us at once. So work issues that are not anybody's fault, can't be helped. It's just part and parcel of the modern day workplace. Again, I'm not going to speak directly to or about the person involved, just out of respect, but somebody very, very close to me attempted to end themselves twice in a very short space of time. That struck us quite hard. Somebody who I thought knew that would reach out to me or other people who quite clearly felt that they couldn't. That really struck a chord. My nana suffering with Alzheimer's and dementia really badly, as well as My grandparents on the other side of my family, their health deteriorating, all kind of just snowballed into one manic, um, negativity driven episode for me, and it all kind of culminated about 6, 7 weeks back, um, with an incident at the local park where some irresponsible dog owners caused a situation that ended up with me getting bitten. Um, Again, that night I went there for a dog walk, but also to get a few affairs in order from the incident at the start of the year. We'll not go any further into that. So I was already up a height. And something that occurred that night with a group of my mates, which probably in hindsight there wasn't any harm meant in it, but to me in that moment with all of that was going on, tipped us over the edge. I hit a very high level of anger and frustration, lashed out a little bit, having spoken to a lot of people who I cared deeply for nearly 2 months. And it hurt a little bit, but I still stand by my viewpoint on it all, that I am within me rights to feel how I feel, and I was well within me rights to be up a height because of the reasons that I mentioned a couple of minutes ago. Now, nobody other than the people who I spoke to directly about those things knew about those things, so I can't really hold anybody too much to account on that, and I can't really blame anybody for thinking that I might have been in a better position to have the things said or done about slash to me said about slash to me. If that makes sense, like people weren't to know that I was in a very volatile state. It was kind of more the lack of thought after the fact that upset us and hurt us. I felt quite belittled and betrayed in a sense. I thought that a lot more people would have had the nuance to realise something was up and reach out. I like to think that I do that for other people. I like to think that I've been there for a lot of people down the years, this year especially. And in the moment, it just felt like that wasn't reciprocated and that wasn't afforded to me. That respect wasn't there. It felt like a lot of people from a lot of different circles, not just from that one incident, but a lot of people from a lot of different circles were putting a group narrative or the overall opinion of a certain sector above my mental well-being. And don't get us wrong, people don't owe me shit. Like I'm not owed fuck all from anybody. If people want to make me the punchline, that's entirely up to them. And 99 times out of 100, I'm more than happy to be the butt of a joke, like it's banter a lot of the time. But I've just felt like in that instance and around that time in a lot of different instances, there was just a lot going on and I couldn't really process emotion very well. And it led me to sort of taking a backward step from a lot of people who were close to us. If any of them are watching this and are up to this point, just know that there's no hard feelings anywhere. Like, I don't hold grudges. Life's far too short. Like, it's getting to the point in life now where people are only seeing each other at funerals for friends who have either killed themselves or died tragically, and it's a sad state of affairs when that happens. So, if anybody feels that strongly about it or feels like I've personally aggrieved them, sorry that you feel that way. Whether I agree with that or not, consider this an olive branch if you've managed to get through the 9 minutes of the video. You probably haven't, so I'm talking to myself at this point. But ultimately, I feel like what I've learned in 2026 is that nobody's going to come and drag you out of any sort of pit of despair that you're in. You need to put the work in to do it yourself. A bad day doesn't mean that it's a bad life. I feel like I get hung up a lot of times on things that in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days' time won't even matter. And above all else, I feel like swallowing your pride and allowing yourself to forgive perceived transgressions, because I'm probably going to enter this last quarter of 2026 with a very small circle, a very valuable circle nonetheless, but a very small circle. And I feel like that comes a lot from the masculine aspect of we're too proud to accept that we've maybe made somebody feel bad or that we've wronged somebody. Like, even if our intentions weren't to hurt somebody, our actions have hurt somebody. I know that I've done that a lot this year with a lot of different people, where I've reacted a certain way, or I've delivered something in a certain tone and it's not been deliberate, but I have hurt people. So I think finishing this year and moving on to the next, I would probably say that I've got a lot more discipline in what I like to do in life, and I need to be a lot more forgiving and take a step back and see the wider picture from outside of my sphere. And if anybody has got this far, then well done. I think most people turn off after the first 10 seconds because I am a boring cunt. If you've made it this far, cheers for listening. If not, then well, I've got a lot of things off my chest, and it's made me feel a lot better for getting it out there. So, if you made it this far, cheers. If not, oh well.